resources that can help you connect with us, that can help you figure out what the game plan should be for the next stage of your business now that you're coming out on the other side of the pandemic. Okay, next slide. We'll talk a little bit about our access to capital programs.
So, Terry, I want an opportunity for Angela to say a few words about the Community Navigator because GMED is directly connected to the New Black Wall Street.
Okay.
If you want to say a few minutes, and then we're going to switch over to Mark Collier.
Okay, so we're not going to go over the access to capital stuff.
Oh, I thought that. I didn't know. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Can you talk a little bit loud? People online that they couldn't quite hear you.
Okay. Let's see. They can just give a thumbs up if they can hear me. You can check and see in the chat. In terms of access to capital, we do not generally with the regular programs provide lending directly. You know, we did that with our disaster assistance programs and like COVID and FIDL, but that's an exception. When it comes to the regular business loan programs, we work with lending partners, either commercial lenders or community-based or mission-based lenders like Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFIs. And basically, what we do is we guarantee the loan, or we provide funds to, say, for example, our micro lenders, who then in turn are able to provide that financing to the small business community. In terms of our loan programs, we have our 7A loan guarantee program, which can be used for a variety of purposes, anywhere from working capital to even refi. In some cases, existing business debt to help with your cash flow and the operations of the business. We have the 504 loan program, which focuses on fixed assets like commercial real estate or long life machinery equipment like production equipment. And then the micro loan program, we work with commercial, doesn't need, $500,000. And banks may not find smaller amounts profitable space for them to work in. So the micro lenders fill that very vital gap and also provide technical assistance. One variation in our guarantee loan program is called Community Advantage, which we actually guarantee loans up to $350,000 that are made by these mission-oriented lenders or community development financial institutions, similar to what we do with the commercial lenders. And so once again, this is really, they focus on traditionally underserved markets, and they also fill that niche, which is very hard in the marketplace, between the $50,000 limit of microloans and then say the $350 to $400, where you might get commercial lenders picking up that part of the market with maybe an SBA guarantee loan. For those who might be in construction or know someone who's in construction, surety bonding is very important. They need those to submit bids. They have to have a surety bond to cover that. If they get the contract, they have to have a payment and or performance bond. And if they don't get that bonding, then it's hard for them to grow and operate that construction business. SBA does have a guarantee program to guarantee surety bonds for contracts up to $6 million, similar to how they guarantee loans. And then just as a mention, we do also through small business investment companies for high growth type businesses that traditional lending does not fit. We do license SBIC, small business investment companies, to provide either equity investment or like mezzanine loans that it's a loan, but it's not necessarily something that a commercial lender would do, or a combination of debt and equity. So we do have that as well. Go ahead. Yes.
Are they still doing the bridge loans?
The bridge loans.
The bridge loans. Yeah.
What, the SBICs?
Yeah. Bridge loans. If you've already had a loan, bridge, additional bridge loan.
You mean like additional financing if you've already?
Are you talking about the express bridge loan product?
Yes, yes.
No, we're no longer offering
Doing that?
express
Okay.
bridge loan product. That expired during the pandemic.
Gotcha.
And so we have made some other changes to our program.
Correct, okay.
Yeah, the question for the people online was, do we still offer bridge loans? And the answer is the guarantee program for that, did expire, right, I think at the beginning of the pandemic. Okay, so with that, I think the next slide.
Yeah, the next
Oh,
slide
Terri.
is really gonna be for Mark Collier with the SBDC. I wanna take a pause and allow the community navigator, partner to speak. Angela, G-Men, if you would, I know you work a lot with the New Black Wall Street, but some of the things that you're working with and coming down the pipe, including some of the access to capital things that you have available.
So for those who might not have heard Rosemary, I'm gonna turn the mic over to Angela to talk about, a little bit more about the Community Navigators pilot program as she's involved with it here.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you for having us here again. As she mentioned, we are one of the programs that is a partner, Community Navigator Pilot Program for the merchants here at New Black Wall Street. We are here for you, and we have programs that include business development, contracts and procurement, marketing and advertisement, information technology, strategic planning, some financial services, as well as some legal services. The way that we're able to do that is because of other partners that we have, and those are the Allen Entrepreneur Institute, Operation Hope, the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, the Georgia Hispanic Chamber, Invest Atlanta, Albany Communities Together, and Southwest Georgia United. I don't want to stay up here long because we are all here about lending, and we have these financial institutions here today. So for those merchants that want to be connected to some of these programs, please get in touch with Ms. Kashiba Taylor, and she will make sure that you get to the resources that we have available. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're gonna switch over to Mark Collier. Mark is online, and he is gonna talk about our partners. Terry mentioned a little bit about the UGA, University of Georgia. Mark, can you turn your camera on for us?
Yes, it is on. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Collier. I'm the area director at the DeKalb office of the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. We are a valued resource partner for the SBA. We have 18 offices around the state. We cover all 159 counties in Georgia, and we help for-profit businesses grow and scale. We are able to assist small businesses in what we call the 5 core business functional areas, and that would include strategic planning, marketing, operational excellence, human resources management, and financial reporting. And the best thing about our services is that they come at no direct cost to the Georgia business owner. You've already paid for us through the taxes that you pay. So as I always tell my business owners, maximize the value of your tax dollars by engaging the resources that will help you grow and scale. So I am, again, the area director in the DeKalb office, and my email address, I believe, was on the slide. If not, I can list it for you right now. I'm at mcollier, Collier, at Georgia spelled out, sbdc.org. So mcollier at georgiasbdc.org. We also work with a number of the other resource partners here, GMIN, ACE, and others. We all are engaged in the same mission, and that's to help empower and move forward Georgia's businesses here in the state of Georgia. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Anybody have any questions for
What's
Mark?
that email again?
I have it on the slide and we'll provide it to you. Anyone have any questions for Mark? Has anyone here in the audience used the Small Business Development Center? Raise your hand. We have one person here that's used you all, Mark. So it looks like we have a lot of opportunity.
Excellent. Someone in the chat wanted the slide back up. I don't know if that's possible. Okay.
got the slide back up.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for being a part. If you have an opportunity to stay on, please stay on. If we have any additional
I will.
questions, we'll bring you up. Right now,
All right.
also we have with us Sunny from Decide the Cab. She is not going to be able to show her camera, but she is going to be online talking about what is available for businesses here in South DeKalb through Decide the Cab. Sunny?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. So my name is Sunny Anderson. I'm the Senior Business Attraction Manager. Oh, you're turning me down. I see you turning the volume down on me. I'm the Senior Business Attraction Manager for Decide DeKalb Development Authority. We are similar. You've heard of Invest Atlanta. We are similar in that regard. We operate in all of DeKalb County. We don't have as many programs as Invest Atlanta, but we've been able to get some of the team members that were leading Invest Atlanta, brought them over here, and so we're really building up the development authority to be able to serve the businesses. My role specifically is helping businesses that are looking to locate in DeKalb County or are just starting up in DeKalb County. We have a business retention and expansion manager, Katrina Young. She is here to assist businesses who are currently in DeKalb County looking to grow and expand or hire. We have workforce services, so if you need connections to WorkSource DeKalb, or if you are looking for employees to hire. We also have our Equitable Economic Development Program Manager. He was actually the one that was supposed to be here today, but he's on a trip to the Urban League conference in DC. So he's out there learning, all the best tricks of the trade, and he specifically focuses on our underserved businesses. So that's Black and other minority businesses that maybe have different access to capital needs. So when you try to get a loan and you need 20% down, we're really working on how could we kind of close that gap for people who maybe don't have a strong credit score with their business, or maybe don't have typical collateral, like they rent instead of own a house. So working on some good things there. So overall, we're here to, serve you guys. You can think of us as kind of a Rolodex. So if you forget half the people who are on here today, you can go to decidedecalb.com and say, hey, I'm looking for help with this, and we'll point you in the right direction to the people that you need to speak to. If you're starting to outgrow your space here at New Black Wall Street, business is doing really well, and you'd like to open a new location, we are not realtors, but we work with a bunch of commercial realtors. We can make some recommendations to you. I always recommend that if you are going to go looking for a commercial space, that you have a commercial realtor, not a house realtor, but a commercial realtor on your side. It's just like if you're going to go buy a house without someone representing you, you don't want to get a commercial space without someone representing you. And they're paid on the commission from the landlord. So it's just like when you buy a house, you don't pay your realtor, they just serve you. And we can help you with permitting assistance. A lot of people don't realize, for example, you're in the city of Stonecrest. If you wanted to open up a business on Candler Road, you actually have to get an additional business license. So you have a business license in Stonecrest, you go to a different jurisdiction, Chamblee or Tucker or DeKalb County, you have, and we can put you in contact with people who can assist with that. And if your business license gets stuck, or your certificate of occupancy gets stuck, or you have a sign permit and you can't figure out who to talk to, we're here to assist you with that. So that's kind of my speech. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them now, or you could go to decidedecalb.com. It's pretty easy to find out how to contact us. You just shoot us an email, and I'd like to say that we're pretty responsive. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Sunny, and we know that you're under the weather, so we definitely appreciate you joining us. I'm going to ask if anyone in the audience has actually interacted with Decide DeKalb. Would you raise your hand? No one in the audience raised their hand, so that means there's a lot of opportunity, Sunny. So thank you for that. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that that's a resource, and that's a local resource. They also they have COVID funds available. They'll be rolling out programs. So you definitely want to be in tune with Decide DeKalb as you start to grow your business. Sonny, if you can, stay on. If we have any additional questions, we'll roll back to you. All right, and I see that Chris is online from Action, no, ACE. From ACE, we're gonna have our partners. Chris, hold on for 1 second. I do have a fund ahead of you, and she's here locally. She was the first one to arrive, so I want to make sure that Stephanie has an opportunity to have her slide and speak with the team. So we'll switch back and forth from online to in person. Stephanie, oh, you're already at the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lift Fund is a nonprofit community development financial institution, and we have been in existence since 1994. And our focus is to help small businesses who are not able to access capital through the traditional sense of going to a bank or in other sources like that. So we provide that alternative finance for you. Behind me are the qualifications that an individual must meet in order to be able to obtain financing through Lift Fund. We do serve the entire state of Georgia, but the individual must be at least 21 years of age. They also must have a valid bank account, because we need to be able to verify your income, and that's the best way for us to do that. We know a lot of individuals may use PayPal and other means to do their business transactions, but it's essential that you do develop a business bank account. So just to mention a few products that we do offer, we have a veteran product, and that is a fixed rate of 5% to 7% based on your the location of where your business is associated. If it's low to moderate income, you would benefit from the 5% interest. We also have our SBA microloans, which are fixed interest rates. Those loans start at $500, go up to $50,000, and as mentioned, they're fixed rate at 7.7, and that can be used for working capital, startup expenses, various things like that. And then we also have our other loans where we can do up to $250,000, and those would be our regular microloans. And those up to $100,000 is fixed at 9%, and then we have our SBA guarantee loans that can go up to $250,000. So we do have a wide array of options for your business, and we're here to meet you where you are in your business. And we also provide education, because we understand that it's not just important to have the funds, but we need you to stay in business. So that's why we try to make sure that we provide the education to grow your business.
Thank you, Stephanie. By show of hands, how many people here have actually used, say if they're from Stephanie, have used Lift Funds before? How many people by show of hands have heard of Lift Funds? Okay, a couple people have heard of them. They're a mission-based organization, and we brought mission-based organizations here on purpose because they're going to meet you where you are, and they're going to help you get to the next stage of financing. So as you grow your business, oftentimes we think we need a lot of money to start and grow our business, but we find that most of our small businesses need less than $500,000. Our average 7A loan size is under $500,000. Even though you go up to $5 million, our average loan size is under $500,000. It's like $424, something like that. So she's here local, Stephanie. She has her information up here, and I know you've done some funding here in Metro Atlanta and DeKalb County. So does anyone have any questions for Stephanie? Okay.
Hey Stephanie, quick question. We went through this from day one before you started over there.
Yeah.
We haven't, a couple of us haven't heard anything from you guys since then. So what's the next process? It's been what, 6 months?
Okay. Well, you can speak with me directly, and then we can help you through that process. If you haven't heard from anyone, I'll be glad to make sure that everything gets expedited. Okay.
Thank you. And the importance, as you talked with our lenders here, is being prepared to go to the lender. So if you're getting to the lender and you're missing some information, you may want to connect with our SBDC to make sure that your package is complete. Because typically when you go to a lender and that package is not complete, they're gonna sit it on the desk and go to the next loan application to make sure they have a complete application. So a lot of times we think we're waiting on the lender, when in fact, the lender is waiting on us to provide some additional information. So I want us to understand where we are in the process. So thank you. Stephanie, you have anything else that you wanna offer? So she offers more than just SBA products, just wanna make sure that you understand that. So I believe Axiom is up next. Yes. Deja is with Axiom. I had an opportunity to sit on the panel with her a couple of weeks back, and they have a lot of things going on outside of their SBA product. And so, Deja, if you'll tell us what you have to offer.
Hello, everybody. My name is Daisha Elliott, and I am here representing Axion Opportunity Fund. This organization, the CDFI, is based out of San Jose, but I am here representing for the Atlanta market. We are lenders in 46 states, but in addition to our lending offerings, we also provide wraparound educational services. So we know that whether you're in the idea stage or whether you're ready to retire out of your business, we are here to provide that one-on-one and group coaching. We also have grants as well. This loan offering behind me is the SOAR program. And so with SOAR, there's a fixed rate of 4% for up to $100,000. And for those of you all who have at least been in the business for at least a year and have revenues of up to $20,000, this would be a great loan offering for you all. One thing that I want to mention as well, especially because we're here local in Atlanta, we have a program next week in conjunction with Samuel Adams. So especially for food and beverage businesses, but please, all businesses are welcome. July the 28th at 6 p.m. we'll be at Switch Yards, and we will be providing free complimentary coaching for businesses. So again, for you all who just need that information on where to go to next, whether it's strategic planning, marketing, legal, any of the above, a commercial real estate coach will be there as well, as folks have mentioned, will be there. So the website for our organization is aofund.org. Again, my name is Daisha Elliott, and I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you all about where you are in your business and where you'd like to go. Thank you.
Deisha, can you give us a little bit more information about the working capital program that we have? I have that slide up. I know a lot of our small businesses have a need for working capital. We typically don't always get revolving capital, and that's usually what we need because we typically buy fixed assets and we're financing them on the wrong type of terms. Can you talk about your working capital product for us?
Sure. So in conjunction with American Express, we've been able to offer a working capital loan up to $100,000 with the interest rate between 5.99 and 12.99. And to Rosemary's point, as business owners, you all are looking to scale. So whether that means hiring new people, whether that means buying new equipment, whether that means preparing to move into a new space, this loan is definitely the one for you all to consider for that. With this one, you will have had to be in business for at least 1 year and up to $50,000 in revenue. And another thing that I want to mention that is just as equally important, a lot of times the newer businesses, they're still establishing their business credit. And so that means that for your personal credit, we're going to take into consideration whether or not there's positive or negative language, meaning have you made payments on time, where are you at with certain things. Again, you're still building business credit, so that personal is taken into consideration to understand, the opportunity to see if you all have the ability to pay that back. Another loan as well that is also Georgia specific is for our truckers. So if you all know of anybody who is in the trucking industry, for those who have been operating for at least a year, we have up to $250,000 for those truckers.
Thank you, Deisha. I'm going to ask another question. Yep, this is an interactive session. How many people here have heard of Axiom? Raise your hand. Oh, wow. A lot of opportunity. One person. Okay, well, that's great. Deisha is going to provide us with her information. She has some information in person, business cards. We're going to include your information on the chat so that you can reach out to her. There's a common theme between all of our mission-based lenders, and that's technical assistance. So that's the one thing that you typically don't get from a traditional lender is technical assistance while you're going through the process from application and then after you get that loan, where you need to go from there. So any questions for Daisha? I have a question over here. Tell us who you are. If you stand up, tell us who you are.
My name is Satis. I'm a visionary here to Caribbean cuisine, Caribbean plant-based cuisine. We were lively up myself. So I was inquiring about the lively
Swiss Yards is in downtown Atlanta, and it's on Ted Turner.
Okay.
So make sure that you speak with me so we can get you the Eventbrite registration. Again, it's a free event, so I would love to meet you and the rest of your team. So,
Awesome. Any other questions? We have two up front. And Daisha, if you could repeat the question, and then we'll have them tell us who they are.
what's your name? So her question was regarding the legal Zoom grant that we had. And I want you all as business owners to understand that grants are either research-based, they're mission-based, or, they have a limited kind of random drawing for who gets them. So I definitely can speak with you one-on-one about maybe where your business is to see what can kind of help scale you and grow you. But just know that if there was a limited number of supply, and I want to say that thousands applied for the legal Zoom grant. But I can't wait to speak to you more about your business.
like the requirements and everything.
So for the most part, each grant will tell you the maximum amount of revenue that you'll kind of max out at in order to qualify. They'll ask for those bank statements again. As Stephanie mentioned, that helps solidify and verify whether or not you're in business and legitimate. And then they'll also ask you, a few demographic questions. And the Tito's grant that we just had for $25,000, that one had more of a qualitative component. So it allowed for those business owners to tell that story as to how, they are in alignment with Tito's mission and how they, became started. But each loan will very well specify what's needed. But if you run into any situation where you need help, I or my colleagues can definitely give you further assistance.
Thank you, Deja.
Thank you.
And I want to make sure that everybody understands that loan and grants are not synonymous. So they definitely have different uses and how you utilize them and also how you receive them. SBA does not do grants with regard to businesses. Again, it's mission driven and it's if you're building capacity. So there are other ways for grants and we can give you to grants.gov and other opportunities for grants, but typically it's not really to grow and scale your business. Okay, now thank you so much, Deja and Stephanie. We have one more speaker and then we'll take more questions. All right, Chris, you're up.
All right. Good afternoon now. 12 o'clock. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon. I'm Chris Clay. I'm a commercial loan officer with Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs. And we're very similar to Axion as well as Lift Fund. We're a nonprofit CDFI. And CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institutions. And we're primarily privately owned lending institutions that are dedicated to the mission and for affordable lending, particularly to disadvantaged entrepreneurs. ACE in itself is roughly 21 years old, and our founder, Grace Fix, Grace Bricks is still our CEO today. And so she started this company out of her basement with about $50,000 dedicated to providing startup capital to small business owners who particularly were women. Over the years, we've pivoted to helping all entrepreneurs. Looks like the slide is gone now. Oh, there we go. Okay. And so as of today, ACE has grown to over $80 million in total assets in over 6 locations. Our home office is actually based in Cleveland, Georgia, and we have a women's business center located in North Cross. We have an Atlanta office where I'm housed right by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and on the second floor inside the Rice Building. And we have an office in Dalton and Rome, and another women's business center in Savannah, Georgia. But without further ado, we do offer several loan programs, and we serve kind of as an intermediary between some like the DeKalb County programs and Fulton County programs. But we also offer ACE's own capital, which happens to be microloans and community advantage loans, as well as commercial loans. So our smallest loan typically is about $15,000, and we can go up to about $1 million. Now, ACE is typically an asset-based lender. So when you apply for a loan with us, you have to have some type of accounts receivables or some type of tangible property or equipment. And then we can typically help you. And as long as you've been in business for at least 2 years, we can focus on that as well. But again, ACE is more than just a lending company. We provide capital, coaching, and connections. And so on the pre-loan side, if you're just curious about what do I need to do to get ready to get a loan with ACE, you can contact our Women's Business Center, either one of them in North Cross or Savannah, and they can walk you through your projections, your P&L and balance sheet. We have a speed coaching event coming up here on August 25th that you guys are more than welcome to be invited to, and I'll drop that in the chat for you all. But again, if you need help with any technical assistance on the front end, we can help you with that to get ready to get a loan with ACE. And then once you've gone through that process, you've gone through the capital process, you've received the loan, we have the post-loan process through our business advisory services. So we stick with you from the day that the loan closes all the way until the loan matures. And we help you grow, expand, make sure you're meeting your covenant requirements, projections, etc. So if you're looking to do business with ACE, we'd be more than happy to assist you, provide any technical assistance that you may need. If you're just curious, you have an individualized question, I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you as well. And I'll drop my information in the chat.
Thank you, Chris. Another question, interactive again. How many people have heard of ACE? By raising hands. We have a couple people here in the audience that raised their hands. How many people have actually worked with ACE? Raise your hand. No one. A lot of opportunity here again in the office. So looks like we've been able to bring new partners to this area of town, and hopefully you all will reach out. Does anyone have any questions for Chris?
Did anybody ask, generally speaking, what is the credit score that y'all are looking for? I know ACE advertising one, I think as low as like a 640, if I'm not mistaken. But did anybody ask that question?
No one has asked a question about credit criteria, credit score criteria. And so I'm going to ask each of our partners, lending partners, to talk about their credit criteria, because the credit criteria would depend on which credit product that you go with. I know some of our programs require a minimum credit score, some of them do not. So Chris, we'll start with you. Is there a minimum credit score that goes into your lending programs for all of them or just a few of them?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So we do have a minimum credit score of 600, but again, it is case specific. If we can explain why the credit score took a hit, then we can usually get around it. Only thing we can't do is bankruptcies, of course, and foreclosures. So we do actually overlook any medical collections, and we'll still underwrite the loan if there is collections on the credit report, but we'll just ask you to resolve that prior to closing. So everybody's case is very, very unique, very case specific. So I wouldn't let my credit score stop me from applying. But from a business side, you do need to be in business for at least 2 years, have at least 2 years of personal and business tax returns, and have your entry and financial statements, your P&L and balance sheets. So if all those things are ready to go and ready to be reviewed, then we can typically, try to make something work for your organization, depending on what you qualify for. And from what we do look at is your global debt service coverage, so to speak. We calculate with a ratio. And so for traditional lenders, that ratio is somewhere between 1.25 and 1.5. But for ACE, it's 1.10. So that makes us a little bit unique. And for those of you who are wondering about the collateral situation, we do go up to 100% LTV on some scenarios if it makes sense. So that's kind of a very broad underwriting criteria. Again, every case is unique and not one particular factor trumps another. So if there's a little bit of hair on the LTV or collateral or credit, we can usually overcome that or overcompensate that in some other way.
Thank you, Chris. You use a lot of banker terms, LTV, loan to value, and the debt service coverage ratios. So there are classes that we offer to our partners as well. It talks about the 5 C's of credit. One of the things about our mission-based lenders and SBA, it helps to bridge the gap for what a traditional lender looks for is having all the 5 C's of credit. And then if you can't get 1 or 2 of them or a couple of them, SBA loans and our mission-based lenders, they kind of bridge the gap for that. And so it's mitigating that. And we talk about understanding and knowing your numbers, which is why it's critical to meet with one of our partners to really sit down and understand your financials. What we typically hear small businesses say is, my accountant said, my bookkeeper said, but it's important to understand your numbers to know kind of before you go, like when you buy a house, you know how much you can afford with the monthly rent. Same thing with a loan. How much can I afford in a monthly payment based on my history? And then if I don't have the history, what about financial projections? But those financial projections have to make sense. And the financial projections say, I'm making $200,000 this year, and you go and you tell a lender, I need a loan because I'm going to make $1 million next year, but you've never made $1 million, that's a hard story to sell to a lender. I was a lender for almost 30 years. And so financial projections and what come along with what we call written assumptions, and it takes into consideration how are you going to get to that next level? Is it reasonable, and what's your competition? Most people tell me, I don't have any competition. That's not true. You have direct and indirect competition, and you need to understand who your competition is, because your competition can underbid you and sell something very similar, but not be as good of a product as yours. But people are looking at price points, and understanding that when you talk to a lender is important, because the lender wants to understand, do you know your business? Do you know your competitors? Because you may know your business, but if you don't know your competitors, you're dead out of the water. I'm gonna use a prime example, McDonald's and Burger King. Who comes first? McDonald's, because they want market share. Who comes second? Burger King. Burger King is not, they don't care about being first. They want a piece of the pie. McDonald's wants to be primary. So you'll always see a McDonald's first. Some years later, Burger King wants to see how the McDonald's does, and Burger King will come across the street. If you look strategically where most McDonald's are located, there's a Burger King not too far, but the McDonald's always comes first. So that's an example. We have a question over here.
I hear everyone keep on mentioning things about personal credit and it's a business. Do any other lenders go acknowledge like the Duns and Bradstreet number or business credit? Like, is that a thing that, I'm just hearing personal, like I know I'm in the process as a business owner that I'm everything is in my business name. Like I trust and things like that, so I'm not associated with the business. So I'm just hearing like personal credit. That's something that I'm trying to get away from. So you guys acknowledge like business credit.
Definitely. I think everyone can kind of speak to that, especially from a small business side. Definitely.
Yeah, we're going to look at your personal credit, especially as a business is growing. You are your business, so we have to look at that. That's, to me, it's your adult report card. That's what we are reviewing to see how you paid your creditors in the past to determine how you're going to pay us going forward. Now, as far as Duns and Bradstreet, well, what Lifton does is we report to your personal credit, and it's through TransUnion. We do need a minimum credit score of 600. In some cases, we'll go as low as 580. But when it comes to your credit, we give you your payment history, and we allow you to do a self-reporting to Duns and Bradstreet through or Experian, business or Equifax business. So that way you're able to establish business credit in those agencies, but it is going to, there, I don't think, many businesses, banks are also looking at your personal credit. So it's always gonna be something that is looked at on the forefront. However, the only ones I've seen that would go over, would be like those Fortune 500 where the business stands for itself.
Right, and all of SBA products will require personal guarantee for any business owner that has 20% or more ownership in the business, and or key officer in the business is gonna require a personal guarantee. But also from a credit score, excuse me, they're gonna look at the global, they're gonna look at you personally because you are a business, and they're gonna also look at your credit score as well. So it's a combination, it's what they call a global, they look at everything. And so from a standpoint of a business, especially if you're, 2 years, 10 years in business, there's really no historical reference as to the repayment history. So they're gonna look at you personally. For all startups, they have to look at you personally. So if there's some mitigants, aside from what your credit score says, they're gonna say, okay, let's say your credit score had a hit. If you can explain that and all the other things are strong in the credit, you'll have lenders that will move forward with it, but it has to be one thing that's missing. But if you have, let's say your credit score is a bankruptcy, you have no collateral, and your revenue trends have been up and down, a lender says, how can I expect for this person to pay me back? At that point, you're not looking for financing, you're looking for equity. You're looking for someone to invest in your business and an equity partner. You're not looking for debt. Debt has to show that you can repay the loan. And they have to show it based on personal, because business alone won't show them that there's a repayment ability. Not every creditor actually reports to the credit bureau. And D&B is not totally reliable, because not every business owner has a D&B account either.
Well, I don't know if anybody has heard of nav.com, NAV.com, but that is something like a financial program that I use, and it helped me, and it helped my business. Like I said, I am part of the business, but it has helped our business into getting different funding and credit cards. And I am like in the process. I don't know like if this is like a millennial thing or a new thing, but I like know people personally, and I myself as a business owner is going through the process of like purchasing a car and a apartment with an Airbnb and all these things underneath, not myself, but Lively of myself. So I have like by building the credit, it's not my name, is Lively of myself, like a business gas card. I just got from Capital on Tap. That's if anybody can write that, Capital on Tap. They do like business credit, so I just got like a $10,000 business credit card with Capital on Tap, and I'm only in the business for a year.
So are they a traditional bank or they considered a fintech? So what type of lender are they?
Maybe a fintech because it's Capital on Tap.
Okay, so it's fintech, and what are your rates and terms?
So the one that I signed up for is whatever I do spend is to pay back in those 30 days.
So what if you don't pay if you don't pay back in 30 days?
I don't spend what I mean, that's not my business plan. What I spend what I know that I can pay back. But I think that if it is, I want to say like the APR was like 14% or something like that. But yeah, that's not my plan to like spend over that.
That's not your plan, and that's, I mean, it's normally not our plan not to pay something back. But sometimes as a business, and I've been a business owner, we can't always pay stuff back in 30 days. Because if someone doesn't pay you, unless you have reserves, you might not be able to pay it back. And so you have to look at what happens when I don't pay it back. So having those type of things where you don't sign something personally is fine, but understand what the ramifications are on the other side. Not saying that it might not be a good product for your business, but you need to understand most of us don't read the fine print on. I have every intention of paying something back, but reality happens. You get sick, you're out of business, you can't do something. Pandemic happens, it shuts you down, you can't pay it back. What happens? Do they work with you, or do they take all your assets from you? So you need to understand what are the ramifications there. And we're running a lot over, 15 minutes over. So we're gonna stay around to answer any questions for you. We put our partners up on, here to find our partners near you. Stephanie and Daisha are here. Our partners online are probably gonna have to log off, but we'll make sure you have their contact information. And I'll stay a few minutes as well to follow up with you in case you have any questions. So we wanted to make sure we brought you some access to capital partners that you had not already connected with so that you can reach out to them. And our next follow-up will be, have you talked to our partners? Have you reached out to the partners for access to capital? And were you prepared when you went there? So we want to hear some success stories. And we do have numbers. We did about $26 million over the last couple of years in SBA loans just in the Stonecrest area. So there is funding happening here. And that's just the SBA 7A loan program. So thank you for attending today, and we'll stay around. Thank you for all of our partners that stayed online.
I want to say one thing real quick before y'all close out. This is something like just sitting here listening to it. This is like one of the things I just love to do, like spreadsheets and projections, put the application together. And I've done 3 SBA homes in my funeral home business, and I probably did 20 when I was acquiring and buying and selling a funeral home. So what we're going to do, and I don't know when we're going to do it, but I'm just going to speak. And she was going to make it happen. So I'm going to do a session, a grind lab for you all. Because a lot of this is just understanding the rules and making sure that we basically backfill and answer all the questions right before you apply. And I can help you guys with that as far as like sitting down, looking at what your projections have been, doing the spreadsheets together, making sure that we package you all right. I used to basically, that was what I did in Little Rock. People would pay me to package their stuff up. And so what we will do is we'll do a grind lab as a community, and we'll sit right here in front of the LED wall. And what we'll do is we'll put those packages together and just walk it down. And that was one of the things that I found when I did commercial loans. It's different from personal credit. When you do personal credit, you kind of go in and it's like, do you got this stuff? Well, I see your number, you ain't got it, you out. With most commercial lending situations, you just need to run your credit, and you need to have something that makes sense when you go talk to a commercial lender, be able to explain it away or be able to show, like, I just went ahead and paid this off. It's still hitting on my credit, but I did A, B, C, D, and I can show you. And most of the time, we can work and get these deals done. So I like for us to complete this process in 2 steps. The next step is I'll sit down, and maybe we do it like the next time we have a community meeting, we just take this session time right after this. And what I want to do is let's walk through an ACE package, let's walk through these packages, let's make sure y'all got all the basics. Then what I want us to do is have our packages together, and then let's bring the lenders back in, and we got packages ready to go. Because then all the crazy shit y'all got in your mind, I can make sure that it makes sense. And I can look at what you are doing. Because the thing that should be our advantage here in the market is that you guys are in business, y'all are doing business, y'all have patterns at this point. It may be some up and some down, but generally you have patterns that we should be able to play off of. And so we'll that's how we're gonna work this and execute pulling this piece together, so that this is not just good information, but it's something we can actuate, we can put it into action and get it done. And because y'all are members, and because I like doing this shit, we're gonna sit down and we'll just do it together as a community, as a family, okay?
I have one last thing I want to say that a lot of us are probably not familiar with. Y'all have any kind of relationship with American Express, any kind of product that American Express offers, you need to go holler at Cabbage. Cabbage just merged with American Express. And what Cabbage is doing now, if you have any kind of product, credit card, any kind of product with American Express, you need to go holler at Cabbage. Cabbage, they're doing business lines of credit. They're doing, and we're talking about with low interest rate. They just merged. Even if you got a regular credit card, any kind of product with American Express, go holler at Cabbage for your business.
And that's a good point. I heard both of you all. I think that what SBA and what these lenders do are like apples. Some of the fintech stuff y'all will find, and those are oranges. But what I want us to do is when we come back together, let's look at the apples and the oranges, because there is, in some cases, we don't think about it as sophisticated as corporations do, as larger corporations do. But there are some cases to where you can take a myriad of different things to bring together what you're trying to bring together, right? And I hear what you say. Some of the fintech stuff is a little bit easier. I see the stuff on TikTok too about how to put your stuff in your business name and those strategies. But I think it's the combination of that. It's the combination of the cabbages of the world and then the micro loans. And it's ways that you can stagger that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to make sure, as Ms. Drake was kind of explaining, we just got to make sure that we manage those things in a way to where we don't get hit with those big interest rates.
Can I
Sure you can.
add something? We're not against this. We're not, because we would Chase, and Chase see what we're doing, and Chase don't call us back. They have no interest.
And I don't understand.
You know?
So it
One of our
depends on
first
who you're
credit
talking
cards-
to, Chase also? Yeah, so knowing the right partner, I used to work at Bank of America, and there were certain clients that I would talk to, at Chase. It depends on who you're talking to at Chase, if you know who your business banker is. Usually in the banks like Chase, Bank of America, the larger banks, you are assigned a small business banker. So you need to find out who your small business banker is and work, because they assign portfolios. So find out who your small business banker is, work with them, determine if Chase has an appetite for what you do, because Chase may not have an appetite. It may not be anything about you in general. It could be your industry. Yeah, and so, yeah, and then when,
Nobody can stop us.
oh, and it, I mean, when you're looking, oh, no, we're not trying to stop you. We want to show you what avenues are available, because I don't think, we're not talking just SBA. We want to make sure you have access to capital, whether it's fintech, whether it's other corporations that can give you equity, whether it's SBA or whether it's other based loans. This was more from an information section, and to say whatever product you're using, always read the fine line of what happens if you can't meet the obligation. Because what we found that is sometimes, I've been a business owner doing well, and then 9/11 hit, that changed my business a lot when 9/11 hit. And so we're looking at, so in the event that hopefully we don't have a pandemic, but when the next big thing happens, is your business prepared to survive it and thrive afterwards? So that's what we're talking about, is having your business prepared to grow, but the next downturn, be prepared to be sustained through it and then thrive.
When you guys come next week to that speed coaching event, I have the minority business person for Chase there. So anything that's, that needs to be improved with that banking relationship, my
You know
guy
the
over
great
there.
thing about Chase? Chase is getting a lot of executive black people,
Yeah.
but I don't see where they're servicing the black community. I'm sorry.
They don't.
I understand.
So they were
They
there.
They don't.
before.
They haven't for
Yeah.
years. They
Bad
don't.
thing, man.
It's
So
a
why you
horrible.
with Chase? The question is, why you with Chase?
Right.
Leave.
Yes. Yes.
Hold on.
No, seriously, they've been horrible.
What I'm saying is, if it's not Chase, it's somebody else.
Right. But I will say this, Chase has been notorious against black people. For years and years. Like she said, in 2010, I owned some property, and unfortunately, my loan was through Chase. I could tell you a story you would not believe what Chase did to me. And then there was a class action suit, and unbeknownst to me, I get a check back for $4,000
But
because they cheated me.
But let me interject this comment. Let me interject this comment into that conversation, right? If that's true, there is actually a CRA scoring that you all should know, right?
Yep.
And then let me tell you all, when I got my first loan to buy my first funeral home, it was because they were in the position that she said. The community was blasting them.
Yeah.
They were all over the place. And she said she got to connect with the person that's supposed to be taking care of it. So again, as an entrepreneur, you got to take that lemon and turn it into lemonade, right?
Yeah.
If they bad and they ain't doing shit for black people, y'all need to go be the ones. I'm gonna be your black success story. Now let me tell you how we're gonna work.
Exactly.
And that's what I found to be successful with banking. If you have your package together, you get control of the conversation. You direct the conversation and take them where you trying to take them. Don't let them take you in any other direction other than get you what you want.
Control what they see.
Exactly.
I agree. Listen,
But I really want you all in particular, I want y'all to follow up with her and let's test it and let's stress test Chase and see what we can make happen, okay?
So there are
And he sues him, and yeah, I heard about that. I saw that on social media. Yeah. Where y'all scoring on that? Where y'all scoring?
And then you can go to our website and sign up for a lot of our clubs.
I'm coming your way too, so we're gonna meet in the middle.
Okay. Back to our regular loan program. So all of the funds that we got from the CARES Act, the American we deployed them. So we're back to, we never got it. Actually, we have it on the regular numbers.
How are you, man?
Nobody.
Charles.
Most people didn't know if we already had an SBA loan at that time.
Okay, guys, if y'all have any additional questions, the lenders are gonna be at the table to y'all to my left. So we're gonna close this area down, and you can go and see the lenders at the table to my left.
I don't have my card. My name is Rosemary.
I can tell you number one.
For me, it's about awareness. I want everybody to be aware of it. There are a lot of options, and a lot of times you're getting sometimes and so being able to understand what's available. You can pick and choose.
Can I ask you a question? What's up, good brother?
Terry, don't run.
No, I'm asking her a question. Okay. How you doing today?
Fine, how are you
Good
doing?
to see you. I've done SBA stuff, and I'm pretty well versed in it in most cases. But what are the international resources? How does that part work? Because I feel like I don't understand it.
Well, basically, there's, I guess, a couple ways. In terms of financing, you have the Export Working Capital Program,
Okay.
which is the revolving line for you to get what you need to get your transaction taken care of, and float you until